Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to play with the I Pick You collection from Hero Arts, and I'm obsessed with it. Specifically, we're going to use the In the Orchard Stamp and Cut set and the layering stencils. So here is the stamp set. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh, there's some really great sentiments in there. It's just super delicate and really pretty, and the dies cut everything so perfectly. The magic is in the stencils, though. You may not want to color all of those itty bitty leaves one by one or all of those apples one by one. So using the layering stencils is going to make things so simple. So I've got my VersaFine Clair ink in Nocturne, and I'm stamping all of the focal elements onto a piece of just accent opaque paper. I'm not using anything fancy today, guys. No smooth Bristol, nothing like that, because we're just going to be ink blending with those stencils. So here's the first stencil. There are little squares in the corners so that it's easy for you to line things up if you want to. I didn't do that this time simply because of how I stamped my images, but Hero makes it really easy for you to line things up if that's what you want to do. So I'm starting with Samba ink. This is Catherine Pooler. We're using almost all Catherine Pooler today. I have one distress ink that I'll pull in. And I'm just using a blending brush, a medium size, to just get that color down really quickly. This does not take long at all. But once the card is done, it looks like you spent so much time coloring. So you can see that some spots are a little light, some are a little darker, specifically because I wanted to go in with a second color. This is Rouge, also from Catherine Pooler. And then I took my Waffle Flower Shader 1 Plus brush and I just added some depth to those apples. If you want to just keep it simple and do just one color, you totally can. But I like making my apples multicolored. Wait until you see the other apples that I have on cards that are coming out shortly. Oh man, this collection. I just love fruit imagery, and I really love apples specifically. Like they come in so many colors. And if you look at an apple, you might think like Red Delicious, okay, it's red. But there's like flecks of black and there's little bits of green in it. And it's just, you'll see. This collection is gorgeous. It's perfect for the fall, and I totally love it. So you can see how easy it is to line all of the things up. I'm continuing with the apples. I'm using the apples in the basket, and then I'll do little guys that are on the side. I've got my large magnets from Glassboard Studios on top of my glass board, which is magnetic from Glassboard Studios. I've got all of that linked in the description below, and it makes things super easy. I've also got a bit of mint tape from scrapbook.com there just to mask off some of the areas that I don't want to touch by mistake with my ink. So now we're going to line up the next stencil. Guys, this is so fast. Like, it's so easy to line this up, and then it's so fast to color it in. Like, I love coloring with markers, but my gosh, I might not ever do that with this stamp set because these stencils make it so easy. So I grabbed Lime Rickey ink, and this is a lighter, limey kind of green. We're going to deepen it up a bit in a minute, but I wanted to start with something light and then work my way through it. Again, just using a medium-sized blending brush just to get that base color down. Super easy to do. This is a great project for those of you that are intimidated by coloring, for those of you that might be new at coloring. Maybe you don't have coloring supplies. Maybe you only have inks. This is great to work with. So now I'm going in with another small Shader 1 Plush brush from Waffle Flower, and then Mardi Gras ink. I missed a couple of leaves down there at the bottom, so I'm just fixing that. So the Mardi Gras ink is going to deepen that Lime Rickey. You might look at that color and be like, ooh, that's a little bit much. But once they blend together, it looks really beautiful. The colors dry back a bit, so they're not quite as harsh looking as they are right now, especially because, you can really see the color on the stencil itself as opposed to on the leaves. But once I pull this away, oh my goodness, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, I love it. I love it. So fun. I like making quick cards like this sometimes. I do love to color, like hand color with markers or what have you, but sometimes you just want to get a look done quickly. Look at that. So cool. Reminds me of The Giving Tree. Did you read that when you were a kid? I used to love that book. I have a copy of that book that was given to me by my aunt when I was small. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. We're going on to the ladder, and I have Over Coffee. And I'm only using the Shader 1 Plus brush for this. And I am purposely not making the color even. Think about what wood looks like, right? It's not just a flat color. There's lots of shades and tones in there. So that's what I'm doing. I have darker in some spots, lighter in others, and we're just going to go about it that way. So now we're going to do the galoshes. And I didn't realize at first that you use that one stencil for both galoshes. So just keep that in mind. Also, I went very dark with my galoshes because I didn't realize, because I was super excited to just jump into the set, that there is another part of the stencil on the next stencil that does the sole, the interior of the boot, and the label. So I wound up using Juniper Mist ink, which is just a nice deep blue. And I went, like I said, really dark. So you really can't go over that again unless you use like black. So I went over it with a gel pen, which I think looks fabulous. So that's a quick way to kind of adjust if you need to, if you go a little too dark. So now we're going to finish off the ladder, and we're going to grab that over coffee again and do the same thing as we did before with the rungs of the ladder. Just kind of some areas light, some areas dark, not worrying about it being perfectly smooth because we want it to look a little bit more natural, like wood. Although I will say that the colors smoothed out way more than I had expected them to, because that's what Catherine Pooler inks do. They smooth out beautifully. And I probably could have gone a little heavier in some areas just to have more of a variation in color. So I'm just using some paper here to mask off the bottom so that I don't hit my ladder by mistake. And I grabbed Gathered Twigs Distress ink. This is the only non-Catherine Pooler ink that we're using today. And for this, they don't smooth out the way Catherine Pooler inks do. This is not good or bad, it just is. So I know that what you see is what you get. So I know that those darker sides and the back of the handle are going to stay that dark. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to get kind of a rounded look. Look at how fast that is. Seriously, I'm blown away. Now we're going to do the tree branches, and I'm going to use the same Gathered Twigs for that. Totally appropriate because, tree branches. And we're going to just fill in those spaces really quickly. Don't even need a big brush. You could just use your little guys and just fill that in really easily, and you'll have a finished set of colored in images in no time. Now, granted, I have obviously sped this up, but it takes no time to do this. Look at that. So cool. It's so cool. So that's where the boot pieces are. But you can see, you're not going to see it because I went so dark. So I grabbed my white gel pen and I'm just going to go in. I didn't do the interior of the boots because that wouldn't make sense because you don't want that lighter because it's inside, so it'd be darker, but doesn't matter. If somebody's judging me on how I did the boots, then they're missing the point of the card. I think that came out really cute. And I love the blue, that dark, dark blue with the red and the green. So fabulous. So I cut everything out. Again, this is super fast and the detail is ridiculous. And I decided that I didn't want my stuff just floating in the air. I wanted some ground. But I didn't want to go crazy with making like cut paper and all of that. I just wanted it soft. So I grabbed that Gathered Twigs and a medium-sized blending brush and I just created a ground. Again, light in some areas, darker in others, and it worked out perfectly. I wasn't sure how I wanted the ladder. At first I had the ladder on top of the tree, but it didn't really make sense to me because the branches wouldn't be able to hold the ladder up. I know I was thinking too hard about it, guys. So I decided to tuck it underneath the tree, and that made me happy. That worked out well. But you can have it on top if you want to. It wasn't quite the look that I wanted for this card. So now I'm going to just glue everything down. No need for any pop-up dots or foam or anything like that. You can if you want to, but I didn't. I wanted to keep it nice and flat, easy to mail. And I made sure to not push the tree down too hard because I'm going to get that ladder tucked underneath. And I didn't want it to stick too much yet. So there we go, tucking that underneath. Look at how cute that is. I love this card. But I gotta be honest, I love my other cards that I've made for this collection even more because they are just the large apples in one of the other sets. The name escapes me at the moment. You'll see it on my blog soon. It's just a stunning piece of art, the way they created that stamp. So please make sure that you check out my blog, because my blog always has a lot more stuff, a lot more projects than my YouTube channel does, because it takes a while to make these videos. And I appreciate you watching them so very much. I love when you comment and whatnot. But please check out my blog, because there's a lot of things over there that you'll be missing if you don't see that, because I post almost every day. So there's a lot there. Look at the card. Oh, my sentiment is I'd pick you every time. I think it's fabulous. I have a little bit hanging over from the tree, and I just wanted to trim that off. But I love this. It's just happy. It's a great card for a friend. It's a great card for anybody. I just think it's a nice card. All right, guys. I hope you learned something today. Break out those layering stencils. Break out those different colors of ink, and just have a good time. I will see you all very soon. Be well. Stay safe. Peace out.